All right, I made some test passes here this morning real quick, see if it was good to go. It may be a tad bit wet, but we're gonna give it a shot anyway. Put you guys back here. All right. We got rain coming, so we're gonna try and beat that as best as we can. Hey man, how's it going? This first one's gonna pull pretty hard, and it's not as dry as we'd like to, but we got some more rain coming this afternoon, quarter inch, half inch. We're not really sure yet. So we're just not wanting to take the risk anymore. Got a couple other spots. I already got chisel plowed today. Oh yeah, that was some tough ground. And some of these orchard or some of this open ground we're working hasn't been anything besides corn and beans in a while. And corn and bean ground after a while just it gets pretty compacted. So us ripping it up like we are, it takes everything these tractors got. It's actually starting to snow a little bit too right now. But we're into the peach orchard. We're gonna run another test pass on this side. It's a little bit wetter on this side. This is just a small block. We got the two big ones done, and we have one we call it the old Empire block. But I think that one's a little bit too wet. We may give that one a test here once we get some of this stuff out of the way. Can't hurt to make another test run. It's a little bit wetter over here still. But we got to get these trees in, so we get everything worked. And after this rain at last field, if we get everything worked by probably the beginning early next week, maybe by late week or the weekend, we can get all the trees in. It's actually pulling a lot better than it was this morning through here. So I'll take that as a win. If you guys got any questions, throw it down in the comments and ooh, that stopped us right there. Throw down the comments and every once in a while I look back here, I'll get them answered for you guys. So this is kind of step one for we're getting ready to plant trees. So this has been just corn and beans for a long time now, and so time for to get back to an orchard. So we'll get it chiseled as the first step. Then we'll come back with the disc, kind of fluff everything out. And then we have it's really a color packer. We call it our field finisher, but it's basically a color packer. And we'll run that to kind of level everything out before we plant. Then we'll use GPS tractor, mark out our north and south rows, and then we'll run it on some east and west lines. And then we can run the planter through and try and get as many trees a day as we can. Dad decided to push some peach brush this morning, so you can't see it. But right now, I'm driving right at the big pile that we decided to kind of put right in the middle of this field. So it's a little bit wetter than I like to chisel, and it's come up a little clumpier. But again, we're going to run 2 or 3 more passes on this, and then throughout the summer, we'll run a field finisher in between all the middles. So I will live with it for now. If I break this up now, it'll dry out a little quicker. So hopefully we can get in here and get it planted in the next week. Here's this nice giant peach pile that this guy decided would be perfect to push today, right there. It's a small sugar, but it works great. We're gonna try and do some more lives more often, especially with some spraying at night coming up. But actually, guys, I think we're gonna get pretty lucky. A lot of these rains that we got coming is gonna be pretty cold, so probably won't have a scab infection, which means I got to spray. Yeah, see, put that pile right in the middle. Definitely not the best place to put that thing, but it'll work. This little piece wasn't originally in the planting goals for this year, but it's so small and it's kind of a pain for the guys to get back here and plant it with corn and beans. Imagine a 24-row planter in here turning and a 40-foot beam head and everything else. Just kind of gets annoying. So just easier to put this thing to an orchard and not have to unhook everything to get back here anymore. Actually, it feels like it's drying out a little bit more. So we may try that last Empire piece when we get this little block done. Can't hurt to give it one more shot. If it's not ready, it's not ready, and we'll wait till after the rain. But getting another quarter inch or half inch of rain on everything is definitely not going to do us any favors. Again, anybody coming into the chat that has any questions on what I'm doing about our farm, anything else, anything agriculture, throw it down there. And every once in a while, when I'm turning back around, I will answer as best as I can. Man, that pile was annoying to get around. The chisel shanks are getting pretty worn down too. When that rain hits, we'll probably end up in the shop this afternoon. See, this is where it's a little wetter. This little tiny corner. There's going to be this one spot up here that's going to be really bad. So let's just go try it. Let's go give it a shot. If we get stuck, we'll have to call one of the boys to come yank us out. But might as well give it a shot. Dad didn't want this little part worked up, but eh, why not? Ooh, it's slippery. It is definitely pretty wet over here, but we can work with it. We knew it wasn't going to be perfect. And now we're spinning. A little bit of a pain spraying this, but it's more of a pain turning a 24-row corn planter in here. And this ground is actually pretty light for whatever reason. It's right in the middle of the farm, but it's like a sandy gravel. And so it actually should make it for a pretty nice orchard. It grows really crappy soybeans. It's not enough water here. Wow, now it's snowing. See, we got a couple questions. Let me get this little section done in here where I'm turning a lot. Then we'll get back on a couple long passes. I'll look back at some of those questions. So we got an old case chisel plow that we're using, and then pulling it. I think it's a 7 shank, so nothing big. And then we're pulling it with a John Deere 5093 on one of our orchard tractors, the one that you normally see on my sprayer, if you watch the videos. If you're looking for some content that we got, you can head over to our YouTube page, click it on our name, and we got shorts, we got long form content on there. Also, our link, all of our links are in the bio and the link tree that takes you to our Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We try and stay pretty active and showing what we are doing every day. Oh, here comes Dad. We're gonna pull out of that small section. He didn't want that work, but he'll get over it. All right, let's see if the questions are. So as we're plowing, how do we tell if the soil is healthy? Well, unfortunately, this soil isn't the healthiest. It's very compacted, but most soils that are in corn and beans are. You know, you turn that ground over, it's very platy, it's very compacted no matter what. There's not a lot of porous material. You go into some of the orchards and you turn some of that ground that's went into grass and sod and everything else. That's some pretty healthy soil. It just is what it is. But we will make the soil a lot healthier. We got some lime last year. We'll give it nutrients as soon as the trees go in. And then we will get a cover crop that will be planted on top of this in the tree middles. As those trees get older, we'll kind of start to take away how far that weed spray strip is. So here in these like old peaches up here, every year that the band gets narrower and narrower, and we have more grass that fills the middle because that grass can actually go down and help them build that soil up, give those microbes a little bit more work. You just got bare soil like you got like corn and beans, all that stuff is. It almost makes a sterile environment, and those trees can't get anything. I mean, those the soil just isn't working like it should. And how do I balance experience as a farmer and modern agriculture knowledge? We definitely go to, I do, and I try to get most of the other guys to. We go to a lot of different conferences. We were in New York this winter. International Fruit Tree Show. We're in Grand Rapids every year. I take a lot of time and talk to different people in the industry that are in different areas. So like chemical reps, fertilizer reps, and everyone has something to teach you, whether they're in your area or out of your area, out of the country. And you just got to pick and choose what you can use for your ground and your farm. Not everything, is applicable. But you just got to kind of comb through it and pick and choose what you can actually use and how to make your farm better and healthier. For us, the past few years, we've really focused on our soil and making our soil healthy. It's been cut down on fertilizers and chemicals, which saves us money. A little bit last night, we got down to about 28. Most of the apples are half-inch green. Peaches are kind of in the red calyx stage, and grapes are just starting to swell. The night before, we got a little bit colder, 27 mostly. Some areas saw 26, but I don't think anything that's caused damage yet. So that's good to hear. Well, looks like Dad just took off in the front end loader we had back here. Probably gonna go try and push a little more peach brush out for this rain hits. Did quite a bit yesterday, and it was kind of sloppy on the top. Did some this morning, it was a lot better, and we've been getting a pretty good wind today. So it's probably our best shot we're gonna have for a while. They're saying a quarter inch of rain coming, but you never know. Could be a half inch. We've been getting a lot of rain lately, making it real hard to get out and get some stuff done. The temperature's cooled back off again. We've already had some 70s and 80-degree days down here, and we're in Southwest Michigan, so tend to stay a little bit warmer than north of here. Here's the last pass in here. Definitely a little bit muddy. All right, that does it for 3 out of the 4. Let's go make a test pass in that last one. See if maybe it can go. The hilltop of it was okay, but the north and south end were pretty wet still. See, Dad tried to push into this pile, and that didn't work out very well. See, the peach guys are going after it up here. They're in the last peach block trimming right now. All right, here's our test pass we made yesterday. Here's one we made this morning. So we're gonna go right in the middle of those two. Try it again. Yeah, this seems a little wet, but we'll give it a shot. Now this one too's a pretty hard packed farm. Still some roots, it looks like. But it's actually running okay. So we're slowing down here in the middle. Uh, no, still wet. Oh yeah, really wet. Tired spinning and can't put the implement all the way down, so that is never a good sign. And there was an orchard here before. This was a wet orchard. We'll just make one pass on the outside and we'll probably call it. If there's any part that's dry, this would be the driest section. Still digging down pretty deep with the tires. So definitely won't get all this stuff worked today, which sucks, but just have to get a little bit done in the shop. Oh, well, I'm already out here. We'll check on the peach trimmers, see how they're coming along. Well, we got to do some running in town, grab some parts, and get back into the shop. Anyone's in the chat right now, where are you guys from, and do you farm or just interested in farming? Check up here. It's still, man, it's starting to snow now. Check up on the peach guys real quick. This is the last peach block they got to prune. And Dad's pushing over on the Zest farm right now. Yeah, I know my windows are still pretty dirty. Yeah, they're moving pretty good. Man, if we didn't have that rain coming, 1, maybe 2 days tops, and that piece would be ready to go. Probably get one of the other tractors hooked up to the disc. That way, soon that other ground, by the time this ready to chisel, I can probably disc all the other 3 orchards. I come back and get this one done. Got a big old hole chiseling back in the ground. So I know I had the question earlier. On this farm, we grow mainly 3 crops. For our farm market itself, we do have a kind of a small section of the farm that has, the random little berries and veggies and different stuff like that. But for the most part, this farm grows apples, peaches, like you saw back there, and grapes. Those are our 3 main crops that we grow. And when we hop out too, we're gonna check this oil filter. So earlier when I was out plowing those 2 bigger pieces, I just happened to look down and the top of that oil filter looked a little bit wet, and I've wiped it all down now to check. There's a dust seal that goes kind of in between that oil filter and that housing. And I don't know if, well, we're gonna find out. If it's the dust seal, it'll still be have some leaking, but I tightened it back up a little bit. And so hopefully no problems, everything's good, but it's still got a little bit of a leak on the bottom of it. I wiped it all off about an hour and a half ago. We'll pull this thing to the shop, hopefully tonight yet still, and get that taken off and new filter stuck up in there. You'll see here in a second when we get up to the shop. We'll get in there real quick, and kind of a mess in there. We got a lot of projects going on in there right now. I know a lot of people comment that I need to do more lives. I've tried to do some at night and during the day when I'm spraying, but a few of the orchards that I end up spraying each time doesn't really have the best service and usually goes in and out. I get about 10 minutes in and the service kind of cuts out on me. Now, if I'm at the home farm like today, it's a lot easier to do lives, but some of the away farms that I go spray and the other guys spray the home farm, I get the bad connection service. All right, so we're pulling back up to the barn now. We'll head in the shop and I'll show you guys kind of what we got going on in there right now. And hopefully, again, I don't have to worry about the oil filter on this thing. And the reason like the front and back windows so right now is so dirty is like for whatever reason, I can't get the windshield wiper fluid to work. This is one of those newer tractors we just bought, used. So it's got a little some pickups here and there, and hopefully this is the last one to figure out. All right, we're just gonna park this thing right here. Put that down. All right. Let's check this oil filter real quick. All right, seems like that fixed it. Just a little bit of no, it didn't. There's still oil on the bottom, it feels like. Let's get a rag. Must be that dust seal. I'm gonna be right back in here in a second, but let's turn on heater. Get it warming up. We're still on the wait list for that furnace, so torpedo heater works for now. That must be maybe not. That must be left over from last time. Because when I go around the whole filter and come back, there's no oil. So I must have just not to wipe the bottom off or something earlier. Until I find some around there. Oh, the camera's actually pretty useful. I haven't seen anything. All right, well that's good. A little bit of tightening did fix it. All right. Now let's go in the shop real quick and give you a quick rundown of what we got going on here. Well, I want to get done today yet. So this thing, unfortunately, is still in here. We bought this one